the doctrine of the Trinity in the Quran is a very interesting one. Very quickly, I'll try to summarize my points as quick as possible. There is no mention of Trinity in the verse 116 of the chapter 5 of the Quran. There's no mention of the Trinity. The Quran simply says, this is a dialogue taking between God and Jesus. God asks Jesus, did you tell people to worship you and your mother as gods besides Allah? And Jesus responds that I have never said anything like it, and you are better aware of the fact that I have never said anything like it or claimed anything like it. Now, is the Quran correct in claiming that the Christians or some people worship Jesus and Mary? Of course the Quran is absolutely accurate in this verse. The Quran doesn't say that did you actually preach the doctrine of the Trinity with God the Father, God the Son, and Mary as the third person. The Quran is not saying that. The Quran is making a simple statement. Did you actually ask people to worship you and your mother? Do Christians worship Jesus? Of course they do worship Jesus. In fact, at the expense of God the Father, they worship Jesus. People like James D.G. Dunn, one of the biggest scholars on patristic history, has written on this topic. Did early Christians worship Jesus? And he has very interesting points to make. And in this book, in the conclusion, he states that the Christians today are effectively guilty of Jesus-olatry. Just like idolatry, they are guilty of Jesus-olatry because the focus of their worship has become Jesus, not God the Father, whom Jesus himself worshipped. So the Quran is making that point, number one. Number two, Mary, was she ever worshipped by Christians? She is worshipped to this day. The Catholics, in fact, the Council of Chalcedon, 461 CE, regarded Mary as the God-bearer, the one who carries God in her womb. In other words, the mother of God. Catholics have been praying to Mary for the past 1,700 years. And the Quran is addressing those people. And when the Quran talks about the Trinity in chapter 471, it simply says, do not say three. Now, God understands that Christians have understood the Trinity differently in different times and different places. This is the debate tonight. The Christians have never had unanimity on the doctrine of the Trinity, especially in the first 4 centuries.